I never expected that one careless joke would completely turn my life upside down. My name is Jamie, and I was a pretty normal college student, or at least I thought I was. I had my classes, my friends, and my roommate Victoria. She was stunning, confident, and always just a step ahead in everything: fashion, charm, even social life. I admired her and envied her. It all started on a lazy Saturday afternoon. Victoria was trying on a new outfit, twirling in front of the mirror, and I joked, I could totally pull off that look too. Maybe even pass for your twin. I meant it as a laugh, but she didn't take it lightly. Her eyes gleamed with mischief. "Oh really? You think you could handle being me?" she challenged. Before I could protest, she leaned in, whispering, "Why don't we make it interesting?" The next thing I knew, I was staring at a small vial on her dresser, labeled in her neat handwriting, "Transformation Potion, Twin Experiment." My heart raced. Was she serious? I laughed nervously. "Victoria, come on. That's just a joke, right?" But she wasn't joking. One sip later, and everything changed. My reflection blurred, my features softened, my hair lengthened and shimmered, my body shifted into a curvy, delicate frame. I reached for the mirror, stunned. I wasn't Jamie anymore. I was Victoria's twin, her exact image staring back at me. Panic surged, but so did a strange, thrilling excitement. My roommate's voice, teasing and triumphant, echoed in my ears. "Welcome to my world. Let's see if you can keep up." And just like that, my life became a dangerous game of identity, desire, and secrets. The first few hours after drinking Victoria's mysterious potion were surreal. I sat on my bed, staring at the reflection in her tall mirror, unable to comprehend what had just happened. My features were no longer my own, softened, refined, almost ethereal. My hair cascaded down my shoulders in the same silky waves Victoria's always had. My body had shifted, curvy in all the right places, delicate and feminine. Every movement I made felt foreign, yet strangely natural. It was like stepping into someone else's skin. Someone perfect, confident, untouchable. I tried to speak, to protest, to tell Victoria that this was insane, but my voice came out soft, high-pitched, melodic, completely unlike my usual tone. Panic surged through me. I was trapped in her body, or rather, a body that looked exactly like hers. And the thrill and terror of that reality gripped me tighter with every second. Victoria, of course, found it hilarious. She circled me like a predator observing her prey, grinning. "You look amazing," she teased. "Honestly, you could fool anyone. I think you're even better than me already." I froze, heart pounding. That wasn't a compliment. It was a challenge. And deep down, I knew she was testing me. Every glance, every smirk, every instruction from her pushed me closer to surrendering to this new identity, even though part of me screamed to fight it. The next day, college felt different. Walking through the campus, I realized just how much people were drawn to me, or rather, to the image of Victoria's twin. Friends waved, classmates stared, and strangers whispered. I had no control over their perception of me, yet the power it gave was intoxicating. I felt eyes on me constantly, admiration mixed with envy. It was overwhelming, exhilarating, and terrifying all at once. But the more I tried to act normal, the more I realized I wasn't normal anymore. My posture had changed, my gestures were delicate and calculated, my hands and movements were feminine in ways I couldn't fully control. Even my thoughts began to shift, my mind adapting to the reflection in the mirror, to the persona Victoria had forced upon me. Every time I caught a glimpse of myself, I shivered with a mix of fear and fascination. Victoria, of course, relished every moment. She took me shopping, teaching me how to walk, how to talk, how to charm people without them realizing I wasn't her. Each outing was a test: walk down the main street, order coffee at the cafe, chat with classmates, and every time, she watched silently, a smirk curling on her lips. "Remember, you're my twin now. Every action, every word, every glance matters. Don't mess this up." The social pressure escalated quickly. Friends began complimenting me on my appearance, noting subtle differences in charm, charisma, and style. Some tried to test me, asking personal questions about Victoria, challenging me to respond without slipping up. My heart raced during each interaction. A single mistake could reveal the truth. I could feel my control slipping further with each passing day. At night, the struggle became more intimate. I stared at my reflection for hours, adjusting my hair, smoothing my clothes, practicing gestures. I had to become convincing, or risk suspicion. But with every practice session, I felt myself changing. Not just physically, but emotionally. The persona Victoria had created wasn't just skin deep, it was seeping into my mind, my desires, my instincts. I was learning to enjoy being her twin, even if a part of me still screamed to reclaim my identity. Then came the ultimate test, a party at Victoria's friend's apartment. She had instructed me to attend in her place, fully embodying her persona. My heart pounded as I dressed, applied makeup under her guidance, and practiced her mannerisms until they felt almost natural. Every step toward the party felt like walking on a tightrope. Every glance in the mirror reminded me of the risk, the thrill, the forbidden excitement of stepping fully into someone else's life. The moment I arrived, the pressure intensified. People stared, complimented, and whispered. I had to remember everything Victoria would do, every nuance of her personality, every subtle inflection of her voice. One slip, one hesitation could expose me. And yet, as I mingled, laughed, and charmed my way through conversations, a strange exhilaration coursed through me. I realized I was good at this. Too good. And that terrified me almost as much as it thrilled me. By the end of the night, I returned to our apartment exhausted but exhilarated. Victoria was waiting, leaning casually against the counter, smirking. "Not bad, twin," she said. "You're learning fast. But remember, this is just the beginning. The world will expect you to perform, to be perfect, and the more you enjoy it, the harder it will be to go back." And that's when I realized the cruel truth. I wasn't just playing a role anymore. The transformation was consuming me, physically, mentally, emotionally. Every compliment, every glance, every whisper of admiration pulled me deeper into Victoria's world. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I wondered if I even wanted to return to being Jamie. The days that followed blurred into a mixture of panic, fascination, and secret enjoyment. College life became a stage. My reflection became both a mirror and a trap. Every action, every word, every flutter of my eyelashes reminded me that I was no longer in control, but maybe, just maybe, I had grown addicted to the thrill. The night of the big party arrived, and I could barely breathe. Victoria had insisted I attend in her exact image, leaving no room for mistakes. My reflection in the mirror was flawless. Long hair perfectly styled, makeup applied with precision, and a body I could hardly recognize as my own. But with each glance, panic and exhilaration collided in my chest. I wasn't Jamie anymore, I was Victoria's twin, and the stakes had never been higher. The party was alive with music, laughter, and flashing lights. Every student, every glance, every whispered comment felt like a test. I had to move, smile, and speak as Victoria would, effortlessly charming, perfectly confident. But the second I stepped into the room, my heart lurched. Someone familiar, my old friend Mark, stood near the punch table. His eyes widened. "Jamie? Wait, is that?" Panic seized me. My mind screamed to flee, to explain, to strip off the persona and reclaim myself. But my body obeyed Victoria's training. I laughed softly, voice high-pitched and melodic. "Just trying something new," I whispered, smiling delicately. Mark's expression wavered between recognition and confusion. I felt sweat prickling my back. Could he see through the illusion? Could anyone? Before I could respond, Victoria appeared behind me, her smirk sharp and triumphant. "Relax," she whispered in my ear. "Confidence. Charm. You are perfect." I forced myself to nod, to step forward with poise, letting my hips sway naturally, hands delicate. The effect was immediate. Mark relaxed, others nearby watched in admiration, and I realized with a jolt that the persona wasn't just convincing. It was magnetic. People were drawn to me, to this image of Victoria's twin. And that thrilled me more than it should have. But then disaster struck. A rival student, one who always disliked Victoria, stepped closer, suspicious and probing. "Hey, you're acting weird." Victoria wouldn't. My pulse skyrocketed. One slip, one hesitation, and the spell could be broken. I felt my legs wobble in the heels, my hands tremble, and my voice catch. The room seemed to hold its breath. Every pair of eyes was on me. Victoria's voice cut sharply through my panic. Own it. Be irresistible. Nobody can doubt you. I straightened, inhaled, and let the persona take over fully. I laughed, delicate and confident, swaying just enough to charm the room. The rival faltered, confusion spreading across their face, while others cheered, unaware of the near disaster. My body surged with adrenaline, a mix of fear and excitement flooding every nerve. The party escalated. Everyone wanted to talk to me, dance with me, admire me. I felt trapped in a whirlwind of attention, unable to separate Jamie from the twin persona. Every glance in the mirror reflected not my identity, but a perfect, flawless version of Victoria, and I realized with terror and thrill that I was addicted to it. Then came the ultimate test. Victoria's ex-boyfriend, someone who knew her intimately, approached, eyes narrowing suspiciously. Victoria. Something feels off. Are you really her? My heart froze. I could feel my composure slipping, heels threatening to wobble. The crowd watched silently, sensing the tension. I wanted to vanish, to cry out, to run. But Victoria's hypnotic influence surged through me, confidence, charm, perfect. I stepped closer, smiled, and let the persona dominate completely. Every gesture, every word, every flutter of my eyelashes was flawless. The ex-boyfriend hesitated, confusion giving way to awe. The crowd erupted in admiration, and I realized, almost in disbelief, that I had survived the ultimate exposure. And yet, deep inside, I knew the truth. Jamie wasn't gone. Not entirely. But every compliment, every glance, every whisper of admiration pulled me deeper into Victoria's world. The transformation wasn't just physical. It had become psychological, emotional, and addictive. By the end of the night, I returned to our apartment trembling, exhausted, and exhilarated. Victoria was waiting, leaning casually against the counter, smirk curling on her lips. Not bad, twin, she said. You handled it perfectly. But remember, this is only the beginning. The world expects you to perform, to be flawless. And the more you enjoy it, the harder it will be to go back. I stared at my reflection, delicate, perfect, and utterly foreign. I realized the cruel truth. I had survived, but the transformation had claimed a piece of me. Jamie was still inside somewhere, screaming to reclaim control, but Victoria had embedded herself too deeply. The night ended with flashing lights, whispers, and an overwhelming sense of both triumph and fear. I had passed Victoria's ultimate test, but I knew the challenges were far from over. Every glance, every compliment, every interaction would tighten the spell, and the deeper I fell, the harder it would be to escape. And as I collapsed onto my bed, trembling and exhilarated, one thought lingered: the real test hadn't even begun. Victoria's game wasn't over, and neither was the transformation. I collapsed onto the bed, heels kicked aside, dress slightly wrinkled, wig sliding at the edges. My reflection stared back at me, soft, delicate, flawless. Victoria's twin, staring straight into my eyes. But behind the perfect face, I could feel Jamie screaming, trapped, desperate to reclaim control. The room was quiet, but I felt a presence, a lingering shadow of Victoria's influence. My phone buzzed, an unknown number flashing across the screen. You did well tonight. But can you handle what's next? My pulse spiked. Someone else knew. Someone else had been watching me, studying me. And the thought of another challenge, another test, made my stomach churn with equal parts dread and exhilaration. Before I could process it, Victoria appeared in the doorway, leaning casually, smirk in place. You survived tonight beautifully, she said softly, almost teasingly. But don't think it's over. The real game is only beginning. The world loves my twin. And now so do you. Her words pierced me. I wanted to argue, to resist, to rip off the persona and run, but the hypnotic spell she had woven was too strong. I was hers. Physically, mentally, emotionally. Every glance, every gesture, every thought was shaped by her design. You see, she continued, the more you embrace it, the deeper you'll fall. And soon, you won't even remember wanting to be Jamie. You'll be me. My perfect twin. My creation. A shiver ran through me. Part of me feared the surrender, part of me craved it. Every compliment, every whisper, every glance I had received tonight reinforced the transformation, embedding the persona deeper into my mind. Victoria's eyes gleamed. Sleep well, little twin. Tomorrow, everything changes again. Are you ready to become her completely? The door clicked shut. Silence returned, but my reflection in the mirror seemed alive, smiling, taunting me. I wasn't Jamie anymore. Not entirely. And I wasn't entirely free. Somewhere deep inside, I realized the terrifying truth. The real challenge wasn't surviving the party, the stairs, or the social tests. It was surviving Victoria herself. And the part of me that had begun to enjoy being her twin. The screen fades to black. What would you do if you were Jamie? Fight to reclaim your identity, or surrender to the thrill of being someone else entirely? Comment below with your predictions, because next time, Victoria's games will go even deeper, and the stakes will be higher than ever.